everybody, and welcome to day 2 of Nimz Daily Ramble. And today we will be talking about fear. So hello everybody, I'm Nimeha cote, and welcome to another day of my ramble. And today I'm going to talk about fear because fear has been an issue in my life for a long time. I was not an angry person, I was a scared and sad person. So personally, but you can turn it around and use this on anger. I choose to talk about fear in this case. So fear, it can be good when it's instinctual. You want to have fear so that if you're about to fall on your face, that you put up your hands and you catch yourself. But the thing is that you can't let it control who you are. You can't become hypnotized by it. You can't do that. It's not healthy. And it's the type of fear that I struggled with a lot in my life. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot in my life. Growing up, I had a dark past, and I like to think that fear and I have become bestest of friends. I always thought that in order to be fearless, I had to vanquish it like it was some sort of big bad villain to my story. As my life progressed on from childhood, where I had trauma that included abuse and neglect, and being hungry, foster care, all those bad shit. And then I brought those fears into my teenage years, where it led to drinking and bad sexual behaviors and more foster care and more rebelling and moving out on my own when I was very young, dropping out of school. Then you go and I took my childhood trauma and my teenage trauma that I put on myself, and I brought all that junk with me to my young adult life. And then I was met with domestic abuse. You're dealt with more addiction problems, along with mental illnesses. It doesn't stop. I felt like it didn't stop. Every time something bad happened, something worse came, because I was in a constant state of fear. It's like I was collecting fear, like they were some sort of collection card, series of collection card, like Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic or hockey cards. It's insane, but it's how I was. I was stuck in my own loop, and I was constantly thinking about them and letting them mold me into who I was. I was constantly having physical, emotional reactions to it, leaving me in a place of standstill. I was therefore letting that fear control me. Think about it for a second. So being in the present day, however, I like to think back on something I heard Jake Ducey say. Don't bring your past into your present. How I wish I had heard that so long ago, because, well, I didn't know this back then, and I didn't know that for the longest time. And all I did was bring my past into my present. And I focused on ignoring those fear or vanquishing those fear, and it just led to more and more troubling circumstances. I literally manifested all this bad junk into my life because it's all my subconscious mind knew how to do. But one day, I had enough. I put my foot down and I decided to I started to do what Jake Ducey said, not to bring my past into my present, and to use those events from my past as stepping stones into the ultimate Nimz. So, but remember what I said in the beginning? Fear can be good if it's instinctual. Well, my biggest question for myself, standing there in like my giant closet of fear suits, is how do I turn these fear suits into lessons, into something that will manifest my inner self, that will make me feel how I feel about myself, inward, outward. And how can I bring how I feel how I feel inward, and how can I bring that back towards myself? How do I take back the driver's seat to my instincts, which are wired to run in the opposite directions and hide from fear? But you see, by then I had my daughter, I had dealt with my baby daddy. And I was in a place where I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, severe anxiety with panic attacks, and seasonal depression because I live in northern region of Ontario, so we got lots of snow. So I don't get lots of sun. I was in a place in my life where I was literally, fear had me cornered, and I was in a place where, you know what, it's kill or be killed. I am going to, it's either, fear is going to kill me or I'm going to kill myself at this point. I am tired of life. I am tired. And you know what? One day, it just started with one day, one video, one book, and it's like, it slowly, I start reading one book about success. And it, that leads to me seeing and following more people who have succeeded online. And then I read and I watched The Secret, and that completely changed my life. And then I started following Jake Ducey and Aaron Doughty and Bob Proctor and Metaphysical Mike, and those guys, like, literally I brainwashed myself with their positive juju, and you know what, it just changed me. Because it's like slowly my inner self started to slowly resurface, like it had been dormant and asleep for ages. So it took a little bit of time to, wake up and resurface, but I started to make vision boards, and I started working and studying on the law of attractions, along with studying the mountains of resources on YouTube and online. It really doesn't stop, There's so many resources online, especially for free if you take the time to look. So I'm a single mom on a disability, so I honestly don't have a big budget here. However, through all that, I still had the one question that remained in my head. It just got a little fancier and more specified as my consciousness grew. The question was, if my subconscious mind is in charge of 95% of my actions, and my conscious mind is just the inner critic, then how do I understand my own fears, and how do I turn them into faith? Because fears turned upside down is faith. So how do I turn all that big giant closet of fear suits into faith suits? How do I manifest that closet of fear suits into that light that makes me shine? And I sat there and I meditated, and life threw more shit my way. I won't sugarcoat it. Life's not easy. Sometimes when you think it's not easy, you manifest not easy. You stumble a few times to be able to get it right. But finally, I realized something. I was focusing on the wrong thing the whole time. I had to understand my fear, then intercept it, and explain to my inner self the solution, not focus and obsess on the problem. What is that? What is the fear that I am feeling trying to teach me? How do I turn my fear into yet another personal victory where I don't let my fear completely overcome and kill me, we'll say, because that's where I was in my life at one point. So there's one technique that I like to use whenever I feel very fearful, and it really helps me to, get into my head and to talk to my inner self, my subconscious mind, to figure out what really is going on. So I'm not going to put music on. I don't have music for you guys. I'm just going to explain this process to you guys. I'm going to put it in the description below, and if you want to use it, put on some nice music, some whatever music works for you, and through these, you close your eyes and you smile. Then you breathe in for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you do this, in and out, and you breathe, and you focus on your breathing, really trying to focus on your third eye, which is positioned, here. So you try to, when you're closing your eyes and you're smiling, you're really trying to focus on your third eye. And this really helps to calm down and stop your conscious mind, I find, from thinking. So once you've done this and you imagine you're breathing in this beautiful, clean, fresh peace and serenity into your soul, and you're exhaling all that bad stuff, okay, you open your eyes and you grab a journal. Okay, I have like one, I have two, grab a journal, grab a piece of paper, anything, all right? And then you make 3 columns, okay? One of the columns says fears. The other one says the lessons you can learn from overcoming that fear. Lessons you can learn from overcoming that fear. And finally, the last one is, what small actions can I do to refocus that fear into faith, which will end up, helping you to see your map to your fears and where your fears are leading you, basically. I did this for myself, and I will give you guys a couple examples. I had fear of abandonment, I had fear of hurt, I had fear of pain, I had fear of being alone and in the dark, and I looked into myself and I realized that the lessons that these fears were trying to teach me was to help others to never feel alone and abandoned and lost and controlled by pain and fear again. I had a fear of love. Well, I turned that into love people without end and everyone, because I've often felt unloved and unwanted, and what I'm afraid of, I'm going to completely 180 it and give it out back. What is it trying to teach me? If I overcome this fear, what is it going to give me? Here. I had a fear of standing up for my beliefs. So I'm scared of being laughed at and belittled, and that's all because of my childhood, correct? And if I go through that more deeply, and what I need to do is, it taught me I need to listen to others empathetically and to help people heal in their own way and understand that I could easily be in their shoes if I put my mind into that. So only thing I can do is help relieve their poor, struggling mind from that problem. And that is my goal in life, to just simply help people to do that. So, and that's pretty much it, you guys, for today. So I love you guys, and don't forget, my lovelies, forgive. Face the negative patterns in your life, because you know what? You can be free of fear if you put the work in. So meditate, breathe, and make that list, because you know what? It will change your mind. Now, I hope this helped you guys, and have a wonderful day. Love you.